you're just paying through the nose for your insurance premium for your, several multifamily properties, your portfolio. Why don't we look at strategies that can help you self-insure, and we can maybe cut that premium in half, and just different things like that. And so basically, for people staying in the real estate world, and of course, real estate investors love their world. They don't want to leave. They just love real estate. There's nothing better than real estate, right? But it's showing them through some financial tools, some other finance stuff out there, they can just, make their own their real estate portfolios that much better, right? They can really maximize what they're doing for them.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level, and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson, and today I'm joined by Aaron, who is making serious moves in the wealth strategist space, especially when it comes to elimination of capital gains tax for high earners and real estate investors. Aaron, happy to have you, man. Welcome to the show.
Same here. Thank you, Micah.
Absolutely. I think our listeners are really going to take something away from how you're approaching that elimination of capital gains tax, how you're helping those high earners and investors keep more of their money, use it smarter. So I'm excited to dive in here. So for people who may not know you yet, what markets you operating in and what is your real main focus right now?
Sure. So I'm right now in Boca Raton, Florida. I live here 3 years now, originally born and raised in Los Angeles. I am a wealth strategist, which is kind of like the intersection between, insurance and taxes and borrowing and investments. So I sit with, I got a lot of folks who are real estate investors because that was my old world. I'm helping them, like you say, with capital gains tax. And especially right now at the end of the year, it's a lot of trying to figure out if there's any other kind of deductions that we can squeeze together for them so that when they hand their book to the CPA, probably at April 14, that they actually have some good deductions there.
So you mentioned that you had a previous life in real estate. Tell me a little bit about that story and transition from how you connected these two worlds together.
Sure. So in 2012, I was a real estate agent in Coldwell Banker in Los Angeles. Hop, skipped, and jumped till ultimately I was in Douglas Elliman of Beverly Hills, which was when it was just starting out. I guess famously, the Altman brothers were down, a few cubicles away from me. And I realized quick as a real estate agent that if I wanted to really earn some commission, I needed to get friendly with the real estate investors, not just the home buyers, because they'd buy something, 7 years, I'm not hearing from them. So I started working with investors. And in that time, 2013, 2014, 2015, there was a lot of development going on. That's when a lot of this McMansion building started happening. And so I would go to properties, I would meet the investors, usually who were there with, the fence open on the construction site. So I'd be able to walk in and meet the investor and ask them what else they were looking for and then go find it. I started to learn, kind of what their acquisition criteria was and how much money they were looking to make on the deal and what their construction costs would be. And I just loved it. I kind of felt that's really where I started getting interested in investing overall.
Yeah. I have a past life as a real estate agent too. And when I met my first investor and just started discovering those same things of, holy cow, this one person wants to move 30 to 50 houses a year. That's what I'm talking about. This is a way to really dig in and learn that behind the scenes. So you got started there. What was it ultimately that led you to where you are today? What made you want to make that jump?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So I became a real estate agent. And like I said, I loved working with the investors. I wanted to become one as well. And I did. I flipped houses. I started buying and selling houses in Pasadena, California. And I actually got now that I think about it, I got a historic preservation award for flipping one house over there. We made it look really authentic. And that was fun. And then I also got my mortgage license because I always liked the idea of really having like all the tools at my own disposal, right? And really seeing an investment or a piece of real estate from every angle, the lender angle, the contractor angle, and obviously the buy and sell by being the real estate agent. And I did that for a while until, kind of COVID came. And then even though I was gosh, what do they call it? I was allowed to work, right? I was an essential worker. It didn't matter. Even though I was a contractor and I could go, let's say work on Mrs. Johnson's kitchen, besides for my own projects, Mrs. Johnson wouldn't let me in because I'd sneezed in her kitchen, so didn't matter. So I realized the only thing that I could really do was do the mortgage thing. And then of course, mortgage rates were really good. And so that just pushed me kind of more into the finance side and being away from the actual, touching the actual physical properties and just kind of being more on the dollars and cents side. California didn't make sense for me anymore. I moved to South Florida. I've been here for 3 years and been loving it. And then really been driving, started with the mortgage and then adding in kind of the full synergistic approach of the investment and the insurance and the borrowing aspects.
It's a fascinating journey to get there. That's one thing I like about real estate and meeting people in it is you touch different parts of it. And as long as you keep staying in it and you enjoy it, it'll lead you down a path to that section where the real you can kind of thrive, that the problems you enjoy solving, the part you like to do can come out. So what's been the key to making that work consistently in the new world that you're in the wealth strategy?
Well, I think that I've taken a larger approach. I've been around long enough to see some cycles of real estate, right? And so I see the kind of cycles of the real estate going up and going down, the rates going up, the rates going down. I remember having a conversation with a real estate investor friend of mine in like 2018, saying to him, like, maybe there's something you can do to hedge these interest rates because I just can't see how they can go lower. They're going to go up and you've got a lot of real estate. Let's figure out how you don't have to just eat those higher rates when your loans come due. Nothing came of that conversation because didn't we all think rates were going to stay at 3% forever? So nothing came of that. But, that was the kind of thing where I don't want to say I saw the writing on the wall, but I certainly saw that there are cycles that can truly move up and down. Bringing in the wealth strategy, I saw, investors who sometimes, for example, on the tax side, they'll hesitate to sell a property because they don't want to pay the tax. And then, yes, of course, there's a 1031 exchange. Sometimes they don't want to deal with the exchange. They don't want to get a new property. They're very comfortable with the property they have, or they're worried that, there's not a lot of deals out there, right? They're worried they won't be able to make their exchange in time. And so having kind of this wealth strategist, kind of all these worlds coming together, I'm able to give someone a lot more options. I'm able to say like, hey, for example, 1031 exchange is not your only option to not pay capital gains tax. I'm able to say things like, hey, you're bleeding, you're just paying through the nose for your insurance premium for your, several multifamily properties, your portfolio. Why don't we look at strategies that can help you self-insure and we can maybe cut that premium in half and different things like that. And so basically for people staying in the real estate world, and of course, real estate investors love their world. They don't want to leave. They just love real estate.
Nope.
There's nothing better than real estate, right? But it's showing them through some financial tools, some other finance stuff out there, they can just, make their own their real estate portfolios that much better, right? They can really maximize what they're doing for them.
What do you think's been your biggest challenge in introducing them to these ideas? What kind of kickback have you got?
Well, there's definitely the I haven't heard of this before crowd, right? You'll definitely get folks who are like, well, why haven't I heard of this? Or it sounds too good to be true, right? And a lot of these strategies that I'll do with folks, I mean, I will show them like, hey, this strategy has been around for 20 years. Okay. It's not that the strategies have changed, it's you have changed, right? Now you are a player at that level where these strategies start to make sense for you. Okay. There's no free lunch. Some of these strategies require, for example, a setup fee, right? Let's say, before the setup fee didn't make sense. The person's portfolio, right? The investor's portfolio wasn't at a level where that fee could be justified. But when they start getting to a certain level where it's like, are you kidding? That fee's a drop in the bucket to what you're going to pay in capital gains tax. Okay. So it's worth it all day, every day. You're still going to have a savings of, depending on the case and who I'm talking to, they might have a savings of $1.8 million or more, right? The fees are 10, 20 grand for one strategy. They're nothing for saving the $1.8 million. You know what I mean? But if we're talking to someone who, has one or two houses, there's a little bit of capital gains. For some reason, they don't want to tender an exchange. I can't bring up that strategy, and so that's why it hasn't come up for everybody. But as people are growing and their portfolios are growing, suddenly some of these strategies make a lot of sense.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
That does make sense, especially because there's not a reason to hear about the strategy. You wouldn't go research it before you actually needed it. And that's not something a lot of folks just sit around and look up each day. It's definitely not real estate folks' desired reading. We're going to want to read about something else for sure. So one, it's got to make them feel better, right? We all like that feeling of growing, don't we? Where we get that access into these new tools that are for us. So I think that's fascinating, the education piece that you're bringing. So looking ahead, what are you most focused on solving next?
So, I think your audience is probably very much geared towards real estate investing. One of my strategies is really good for people who, let's say, are just a luxury homeowner, right? If they've got a home that, this was fairly typical back when I was a real estate agent in Beverly Hills. Maybe someone's got a home that they're going to sell now for $10 million. When they bought it for 2 or 3. And they've put some improvements into it, but there's a lot of capital gains there. So I'm looking forward to reaching out to those folks even after the sale. And this would apply to commercial real estate investors too, that even after the sale, there's a tax strategy for them that can help them not, pay that capital gains tax. And that's really, especially for the luxury homeowners or whatever, that's really their only strategy because they can't tender an exchange, So I'm looking forward to I'm going to dial up my marketing and hone it in to reach some of those folks. But, I know someone else who's we're doing a deal right now and they don't want to do a 1031 exchange. And this is someone who's had a real estate portfolio for 30 years and he's just reaching an age. He knows the kids are not interested. And he's just at a point where he's like, I know I could invest the money in other things, which he's also had along the way, but he knows those other things his kids are way more interested in. And so I think he's starting to make a little bit of a portfolio shift where he's moving a little bit less into his real estate. He's keeping his favorite properties, of course, but he's moving into he's moving that capital into some other things that he knows is really where his future with his kids working with him is. If that makes sense.
And how popular is that? Is that a trend that you see as people keep aging in the real estate space as they go along?
Yes and no. I mean, the nice thing about real estate is there is no passive income. I think we should all know that by now, but it's getting close, right? It's kind of passive. And so that part's nice, especially for kids. It's not that much for the kids to handle. But I mean, I do know someone whose father passed away kind of suddenly, and he had to take over the real estate portfolio. And this is a big portfolio. It's become his full-time job. They manage their own properties, but that's all he does now. He had a different business and he basically, he did a sunset on it. And now he just manages dad's portfolio. So even though we'd like to think it's passive, it's not really passive, right? I will say though that real estate overall, because I definitely deal with people who are selling their business, I do these same kind of tax strategies for them. The people who own the business are more likely to say, "Hey, my kids aren't interested in my business." The real estate, it does lend itself a little bit better to kind of that generational wealth play.
Interesting. So something they're more open to holding on to. So keep that in your mind out there if you're building that generational wealth of real estate. Kids kind of like to keep that one. So for my listeners who are early in their journey or trying to level up, what's the biggest difference for you when it comes to building relationships and growing your network?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
When you're starting off, your network is everything. Because let's just assume you don't just have a bucket of money. Someone's once said to me, it's like you've either got resources or you're resourceful. All right. You're not usually both. If you're both, you're really lucky. And if you're neither, you're screwed. So presumably, let's talk about someone who doesn't have a ton of resources. So you've got to be resourceful. So one way you can be resourceful is you got to go find that network. I mean, when I was a young real estate agent, like I said, I was trying to meet the investors. I realized I could walk into the houses under construction. I can't go up to, I mean, I guess you can door knock. I just never had any luck doing it. I did do it a few times, but when I would try to go up and door knock at a homeowner's house, the second they saw me, the door either didn't open at all or, it stayed shut for the most part. But with the construction yard, with the fence was open because they were moving the Bobcat in and out. You know what I mean? So I just walked in along and I wasn't dressed like a crew member on the construction site. I was dressed nice. I was wearing a suit and dress shoes and everything. And they just thought I was like friends with the investor. They thought I was a buddy or something or an investor in the deal. But then I'd ask them, I'd like, "Hey, I'm trying to meet the owner. We're supposed to have a meeting here," or whatever. I was resourceful. And that helped me build my network. And the network, it worked out very well for me. Some of those guys I started in 2015, 2016, at the time they were flipping one. Well, it was always new construction, but they were doing one or two, which then sold for anywhere between 2.2 to $3 million. Some of those same guys are selling maybe 4 or 5 houses they moved into, and those houses are not selling for less than 10 million.
Wow. I like how you went on offense there. And that's something I encourage people to do. I love that quote about if you either have resources or you're resourceful. There's a way to get in front of people. There's a way to go get in the way of opportunity is how I like to say it. And I think it's something that, especially if you're interested in the real estate business and doing this, you have to get used to is putting yourself out there. Nobody does it alone by themselves in a room in the back of their house. Okay. So if someone wants to connect, collaborate, or learn more about what you're doing and find out more about the wealth strategies that you're using and see if it's a good fit, what's the best way to reach out to you?
So the easiest way to get directly in touch with me is my email. So that's pretty simple. It's Aaron, 2 A's, RON, at KHA. That's like Kilo, Hawaii, Alpha, and then group, which take out the vowels, GRP.com. So Aaron at khagroup.com. It's just, I like when people are direct, just come at me. Don't worry. You're not going to scare me and I don't bite, if someone wants to kind of look around and kind of understand a little bit more about what I do, I have a YouTube channel. And if you search in the YouTube search bar, KHA Wealth Solutions, you'll find me, kind of a black logo with KHA and a circle. That's how they'll find me. Right now, I'm talking about on that YouTube channel, I'm talking about some mortgage strategies to help pay off a mortgage fast. But then I've also got videos, of course, about what probably is going to be a best fit for your crowd, which is, a capital gains, not paying capital gains tax. I got 2 main ways of doing it. And I will say that one of them you got to do before you sell the property. And that's kind of a la the Gettys, if you will, where it's about, you want to manage, you want to control the asset, but you don't want to own it on paper. And that strategy you want to do before you sell the asset. But the other strategy I have, we have another way of eliminating capital gains tax, which a person can even do after they've made the sale, which is a pretty big deal because obviously, besides for 1031 exchange, where you got basically 180 days to close, there's not a lot of options beyond that. So whether someone had a failed 1031 exchange, decides they don't want to do a 1031 exchange at all, or if they've just got some sort of maybe, high-end home that's not gonna that maybe they've used up their first $500,000 as tax-free and they still are looking at a big gain of, let's say, I don't know, $250,000 or more, then I've got a separate strategy that they can do. Even if they sold their house in January, they can still enact that strategy in December of the same year. It's got to be in the same calendar year, though. And I'm constantly putting out more videos on YouTube about those strategies and other strategies, whether it's, reducing taxes and paying less insurance and paying off a mortgage faster, smarter investments, that kind of thing.
Man, I like how you've taken your whole experience now and just keep condensing it into the most effective way for your customer to get ahead in whatever it is they're doing. I just love meet people like you that go on offense is what I call it. You are out there actively trying to solve that problem for your customer. So, man, I really appreciate your time, your story, your perspective. I think we need more people in the space doing it like you're doing it. So thanks again for being here. And for those of you tuning in, if you got value from this, please make sure you're subscribed to our podcast and like this episode. You'll find Aaron's contact info in the description. So if you are needing capital gains tax recommendations or strategies to help you grow your business, whatever it needs to, please reach out to Aaron. He's doing some great things in the space that can help you level up your game. So we've got more conversations coming up with operators just like Aaron who are out there building real businesses. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.